Welcome to the underground, you rebel scum. This is the American Expat. Today, we're going to be covering a couple of interesting things. We've got leaning towers, leaning no more. You've got states on the verge of secession, and a special project that I'd like to get your input on. Coming up in just a second, so stick around. Whoa! Thanks for sticking with us. Before we get too far into the video, as always, I do need to encourage each of you to join in the conversation. I am not an expert at anything, so do us all a favor. Join in the conversation, share your comments down below, let us know what you think, and without further delay, let's go ahead and get into this. So, you've probably heard about the Leaning Tower in Pisa. Well, actually, Italy has a lot of leaning towers all over the place. I mean, just go to Venice, and everywhere you go, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, is that thing going to fall on me? No, it couldn't possibly fall. I mean, it's been there for how long, and it hasn't fallen yet? It's not going to fall on me. But believe it or not, there are a lot of these leaning towers, and not all of them are so stable. Now, there was a leaning tower, a famous one apparently in Bologna, not in Pisa or Venice or those places, that was on the verge of falling over. And there was a bunch of trouble about that. But apparently they've managed to get this thing secure. So you're not going to miss out on that one if you were thinking like, oh my gosh, if I was planning on going to Italy, I wanted to see the Leaning Tower of Bologna, not bologna, the meat stuff, but in the city of Bologna, which I'm probably pronouncing incorrectly. Well, they managed to secure it, so your future travel plans have been saved. You can go there as a tourist if that was on your bucket list and still see this tower. Now, that does make me wonder, with this one being at such risk of collapse, what about all those places that I've seen when I've been in Europe? I guess it plays into what I've mentioned in the past. You know, being over there, there's a lot of people coming into Europe that don't have any connection with the past. So you've got all these amazing, beautiful buildings and a large population that doesn't really have any connection to them or what they mean or how to maintain them. And, you know, they suffer as a result. The maintenance is not kept up. And who knows? I mean, are there a lot of Masons out there, like actual Masons? I'm not talking about the Freemasons, the, secret society or whatever, but people that know how to work with stone. And I'm not just talking about like, well, we can put this fake facade that was made in a factory on the outside of the building. I mean people that actually know how to build stone buildings. Are there a lot of those people around anymore? We need to get some engineers on this. Europe is in big trouble. Well, these beautiful buildings are on the verge of collapse. But in Italy, in Bologna, they have managed to get things under control. And now this leaning tower remains leaning, but is not on the verge of falling on tourists or something like that. Just in case you were wondering. You know, I've been all over in Europe, and I'd have to say the best maintained place that I have been to was not in any of the Western European countries that you're familiar with, but actually Slovenia. Absolutely beautiful country, beautiful buildings. Everywhere you go, there's these beautiful little villages in the mountains, very well maintained. Somehow they managed to keep it up despite communism and everything else that came along over the years. They've managed to maintain everything quite well, and it shows. It's a beautiful, beautiful place if you ever get a chance to visit. But yeah, the Leaning Towers, you got to be careful about that. Now on to this whole thing with state secession. I've kind of saved the rotten bit of news for the middle. Now, some of you are probably looking at this and saying, well, I don't know, the way that things are in the country right now, maybe secession is the right idea. Well, I disagree. And, I understand. I'd like to hear from someone in Texas about this, how you feel about this idea where they keep coming up in the news and saying they're moving closer and closer to secession, or not necessarily secession, but the ability to secede from the Union should they decide that the United States government is no longer representing them properly. I look at that and I say, either we're all in this together or the whole thing just fails. I mean, if any state can just say, well, you know what, I don't feel like it anymore and leave the United States, then we haven't really got anything at all. As far as the situation in Texas, Again, I'm not sure why we're moving forward with that. I'm not in Texas, but I say we because I still look at the country as, one unified nation. I know that's kind of old-fashioned after 2020 and all of the stuff that's happened, but I still see it that way. I guess I wasn't here for all the craziness that took place in between, but I look at it and I see all these victories that people are having as far as the culture is concerned, and regular people, the working class type people, regular people. I don't want to say just working class people, but just regular people that still have, the traditional values of the United States. And I'm not talking about people that are against this or that or whatever thing that they want to attribute to it, but just regular people that want to work and take care of their family and, live their lives without being bothered by the government. Those people seem to be having victories all over the place. I mean, they're talking about Donald Trump, who has become sort of a symbol or a representative of the people. I'm not sure where that happened exactly, but that is what he has become. The chosen representative of the everyday person, the working class person. It sounds like his numbers are looking pretty good right now. If he were to run against, which he is running, so I guess running against Biden, I think that anybody, you could probably put a naturally born, I don't know, pig or something up there, and it would probably win against what we have right now. But that's beside the point. I'm sorry if I offended you if you're a supporter of Biden, but the man probably needs to retire. But just looking at it, there's a lot of victories taking place. A lot of these companies that had embraced woke marketing concepts and all of this nonsense that they bought into are starting to figure it out that, like, hey, this stuff doesn't work. The people don't actually want it and it loses money. They're starting to come around, maybe they'll stop making some of that stuff. They've already abandoned some of their projects. I know with Disney, they've abandoned the Marvels, which, that could have been done so much better. Any of those things that Disney's done. This is what happens when activism gets involved in something that should just be for entertainment. Nobody wants to watch that. Nobody. As soon as you start having weird political stuff in your videos, nobody's going to, me talking politics right now, but nobody wants to go, I'm going to go see a Disney movie. I'm looking for something that's, good for the family, something wholesome, traditional, old-fashioned. Maybe that's the word that I'm looking for here. Disney is supposed to be old-fashioned. It's where I go to reminisce about an earlier time when maybe things were a little bit better. And, they've become something else entirely, something offensive to most people. Well, they seem to be coming around. They've recognized that this is not a winning movement, and they're starting to cancel a lot of the woke stuff and maybe turn it around. I'm sure that there's some of the investors that are pushing for that too. I've heard rumors that Bob Iger is on the way out. I thought they just put him back in to try and save the company. Well, he's on his way out just the same. So there's all these victories taking place, and still they're pushing for secession. And I have to wonder, is that somehow connected with what we talked about yesterday in the live stream? Yesterday, if you're catching this, you can go back and look at the live stream. Is that somehow connected to the manipulation? Because I don't see any reason to move forward with that. And I feel like we all have to be in this together. We can't be looking at it like, well, we need to, if I don't like what you're doing, then I need to be able to get out of it. Well, that's how marriages fail and everything fails. If there's a way out, then nobody's going to stick to anything. We need everybody to stick together to try and solve the problems, not take off, Just my thoughts on this. So, but if you're from Texas, I'd really love to hear your input on this. Is this what you want? Is this what you want your representatives doing? Really, it's up to you because it's your state government. I mean, if that's the way you want to go. But the way that I look at it is, we all kind of need to stick together no matter what, and try and solve the problems. And now, as promised, the special project that I've been thinking of that I'd really like to get your input on, what you think you would do in this scenario. Now, just imagine to yourself, you've got your home and everything taken care of. You've got all your expenses covered, food, shelter, transportation, and you've got just a little bit extra left over. You don't have to worry about your house. You've got plenty of food. You've got transportation covered. Maybe you've had enough that you've been able to be generous, you've donated some money or helped somebody out, and you've got something left over. Let's say $100. You've got $100 left over, And you could spend this on whatever, like go and buy some ridiculous junk. You could put it aside, put it under the mattress to save it. Or you could take it and actually turn it into something. And that's what I want to focus on. So let's say you had $100. I want to know, what would you do with it? How would you take that $100? How would you invest it? And I'm not talking about like the stock market and that sort of thing. But what would you do with $100 to turn it into something more? How would you use that $100 to make, I don't know, another $100? Or even if it's just less, how would you use it to make more money, to generate more money? I'm going to be thinking of some ideas. I want to hear some input from all of you, and I'm going to seriously consider some of these. And I'm not saying I only have $100 left over, but I will do it. We'll try this experiment and see where it goes. So yeah, send me your ideas, what you think, and if you're watching this way after, I'd still be curious to know what it is that you think would be a good investment of $100. And, we'll go and try it. We'll see what we can do to generate more money out of $100 and see if it actually works. But, I wanted to pick your brains and see what you guys think about it. Go ahead and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you would do, and we'll go over them in the next video to see what the ideas were, and we'll go from there to see if we can come up with it. Who knows? Maybe some of you will be inspired by what you hear, and we can all start going out and making some more money in these crazy times that we live in. But besides that, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I mean, we've got plenty. I have to go through and edit this because it's not a live video and actually get it uploaded so that people can watch it. I'm thinking about doing this format, and we're going to test it. If putting the videos together during the day works, it might be a little bit easier for me to do than staying awake. And I'll make sure that I do a live show at least once a week, probably on Fridays. And the other days I'll go ahead and do this style if it works. We'll see if it works. But again, I do want to hear from you guys. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure you go down and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on all of these great adventures that we can go on, like this crazy idea of investing $100 and seeing where it goes. Or if you just want to, watch me, crash and burn and fail in my efforts, that too, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. And with that, I'll go ahead and end it. So I'll see you guys in the next one.